Do you want to use macOS apps but only have a Windows PC? Installing macOS on a virtual machine on a Windows PC is a great way to play with macOS without buying a new expensive Mac computer. In this video, I'll show you how to install macOS on VirtualBox. To install macOS in VirtualBox, you need the macOS ISO file. The ISO file can be obtained by looking it up online. I'm gonna download it from the Internet Archive website. The latest macOS versions such as macOS Monterey, Ventura and Sonoma do not work properly on VirtualBox, so I'd suggest you download macOS 11 Big Sur or earlier macOS versions. I'm gonna download macOS Big Sur. Once you have downloaded the ISO file, the next step is to install VirtualBox on your PC. So, go to the VirtualBox download page. Click the Windows Hosts link. Once downloaded, double-click the installer and follow the on-screen instructions to install. Now you have to download and install the VirtualBox extension package. For that, click on the All Supported Platforms link. It'll download the expansion pack. Just double-click the expansion pack file to install it. Before performing any further steps, you should disable Windows Hyper-V. Hyper-V is a Windows-owned virtualization software available on both Windows 10 and Windows 11. You should disable Hyper-V to avoid any conflict with the third-party virtualization programs. To disable it, launch Windows Security. Click on Device Security. Core Isolation Details. Here, turn off the toggle for memory integrity. Then, run command prompt as administrator. Type this command and press enter. After that, restart your PC and follow the next steps. The next step is to create a virtual machine for your Mac installation. So, open VirtualBox. Click the New button. Give your virtual machine a name. This could be anything you want. In the ISO image field, navigate to the macOS ISO file and select it. Set the type as macOS X and the version as macOS X 64-bit. Click Next. You have to choose how much memory and processor cores you want to allocate for your virtual machine. macOS needs at least 4 GB of RAM and 2 processor cores. But if your computer allows it, opt for higher values to make your virtual machine faster. I'm gonna allocate 12 GB RAM and 6 CPU cores. You'll similarly have to allocate storage for your virtual machine. It's recommended to provide it with at least 100 GB. If you have sufficient space, aim higher. I have 395 GB of free space in my C drive, so I can allocate 150 GB for the VM. Click Finish. This creates a new virtual machine. Now we need to tweak a few settings for the virtual machine. So hit the Settings button, go to the Systems tab and uncheck the floppy box. Make sure IC-H9 is the selected chipset and enable EFI is checked. Then go to the Display section. Set the video memory to 128 MB and check the box next to Enable 3D Acceleration. Then go to the Networks tab to select your network adapters. You can leave the Adapter 1 tab as default. On the Adapter 2 tab, you can select a backup adapter in case the first doesn't work. Select Bridged Adapter from the drop-down and then choose your Wi-Fi card. Now, click on USB and choose USB 3.0 XHCI controller. Click OK. Next, we need to patch the virtual machine by running these commands. Quit VirtualBox completely before executing the commands. Open the command prompt as an administrator. Replace VM name with the actual name you gave to your virtual machine. Here, you have different commands for Intel and AMD processors. I have an Intel processor, so I'll just copy and paste these commands into the terminal window. We can now proceed to install macOS on the virtual machine. Launch VirtualBox again. Hit the Start button to start your virtual machine. It may take a few minutes for your macOS to finish initializing. Once the macOS installer wizard launches, select your language and click the arrow icon. Select Disk Utility and click Continue. You need to format the virtual drive to install macOS. To do so, select VBox Hard Drive Media and click the Erase button. Type a name for your hard disk and click Erase. Quit Disk Utility, then select Install macOS Big Sur and then click Continue. Agree to the terms and conditions. Select the hard drive you just formatted and click Continue to begin installing macOS. The installation process will take more than 30 minutes. During the installation, it will reboot several times. Just keep your PC turned on and come back after 30 minutes. Now that you have installed macOS, just follow the on-screen instructions to set up the operating system like you would set up on a new Mac. After all the steps are performed carefully, macOS should run on the Windows PC using VirtualBox. Now you can also try using Mac exclusive apps and features on your Windows PC. By default, the display resolution is set to 1024 by 768 pixels. If you want to increase the display resolutions, follow the next steps. First of all, power off your macOS VM. Then open Command Prompt as administrator. Go to the VirtualBox directory. Now we need to run this command to set the necessary resolution. Replace the VM name with your virtual machine name. You need to choose a resolution that is less than or equal to the resolution of your physical monitor. In my case, The monitor has full HD resolution, so I've set 1920 by 1080 pixels. Now, let's run the command. You can also run this command to increase the video memory by 128 MB to 256 MB. After that, start the virtual machine. Now you can see the VM display resolution in the VM window is higher. To switch to the full screen mode, click the View tab in the VM window and hit the full screen mode option. Click the full screen mode option again to exit the full screen mode. I hope that with the help of this guide, you were able to install macOS on VirtualBox on a Windows PC. If you have any queries or suggestions, then feel free to drop them in the comment section below.